Hello there, YouTube. This is just a quick follow-up to my intro video. I thought I'd do a few quick tips. Having played this game a little while, I know a few things that are definitely useful. So, tip number one, don't have any dormant rooms. I mean, I have a dormant room because anyway, don't have any of your productive rooms dormant at any time. If possible, like don't make your rooms larger than the number of dwellers that you can put inside of them. It's better that you have extra dwellers that you can swap in and out of those rooms and put in places such as up here to guard the entrance, or send off into the wilderness to gather supplies. I have a Mr. Handy out there just on a bit of an experiment. He's been gone 5 days. He's collected 5,000 caps. So I'm gonna, I have enough handies in my base, which is gonna be one of my other tips pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, it's important to run these guys out as far as possible and then bring them in. I know people like to send them out when gun here, gun there. And at times you have to, when you're quickly growing and you need to get a few weapons, you have to kind of do it as quick as possible. But whenever you can, give them 25 stim packs. They don't need so many. You can see she hasn't even used 4 of the rataways, so you don't need to give that many rataways, but definitely tons of stim packs. And let them run as far as they can, because you will definitely profit. And if they die when they get to the end, no big deal. You'll always get enough caps on their return to more than pay back what they cost to heal. So here we go. Jennifer Myers has been gone as long as possible, and she's collected some decent stuff. Anywho, back to tips. So make sure your rooms stay full. Now, making your rooms and extending them is important. That's tip number 2. So utilizing your space and making it as efficient as possible, your base, is important. And that's why I have my base designed so that I maximize the large size rooms, and I'm stuck with, in the middle, having basically a size 2 room, which since this is not a productive room, I decided it would be best to put a non-productive room here, because productive rooms really do produce best when they're size 3. It's a much larger difference than adding that 3rd room. You definitely want your productive rooms to be as large as possible. So that's a tip 2. Don't upgrade your rooms right away. In fact, don't upgrade them until you get at least some guns in there, because what starts to happen is the types of attacks that take place in your rooms become worse. So you end up, using more stim packs, and at times, if you are in a growth development stage and you're not with a med lab or small med lab, you don't have enough stim packs, so your people fall off. And instead of just having people die, it's better to keep the level of the room low. It's better to just have large productive rooms. Make sure they're full. Don't, if you only have 4 guys to put in the room, make sure it's only a size 2 room, not a size 3 room. And then put your best skilled people for that skill in the room. So this is a power plant. This is the next generation power plant, but it's a fusion reactor, and it's strength based. So you see I got someone here that's high in strength and high in luck. The high luck helps in getting caps. So you want to have high strength in a power plant and high luck. And same goes for food production, which is agility, and you want high luck. And so on. So when you have high strength, these rooms produce faster. Also, rushing is less dangerous. So in this case, let's look at this room here. If I want to rush this room, 11% incident rate, and rushing is very good. You want to rush as much as possible, but you don't want to fail at rushing. Failing at rushing is bad. You want to keep your dwellers happy, and the best way to make sure your dwellers stay happy is to not have them fail at at rushes. So it's best to rush only as frequently as it's safe. You know, I'd say 30% is high, but you know, sometimes you have to rush. So you got to make sure to keep a balance as you're developing, to make sure that you produce enough of everything for your whole base. So you can see the way that I've arranged this base here. So, you know, if I was building this from scratch, I would probably, have some different rooms up here at the top. I wouldn't be concerned about having just power plants until I get enough cash that I can get this structure going between like the first floor and the fourth floor down to that room there. So I want to get that exact same structure eventually. I think that's perfect. The reason is being a strength-based room. Strength is good in combat, just as a general stat. It's not necessarily for the weapons, which, you know, in the case of the shotgun, I think perception is a good stat, but I'm going to be working on developing these guys. So this is just kind of where they're at now. Oh, here we go. We can kind of show you how... Oh, get out of here. There we go. Gotta make sure these guys are healed up for these death claws. We had another death claw attack recently. Those darn things. And you know what's ironic about it, if you know the storyline of Fallout, is those death claws were created by the Enclave or whatever, and they're actually just out for revenge. So, you know, these people kind of, you know, they're innocent in a way, these vault dwellers, but the whole backstory of this death claw thing. There's even some death claws that are sympathetic and with humans, good with humans. They're intelligent beings. They're not just beasts. Oh, crud. See, it's hard to heal when like it lags out and guys stack. Like you'll have 3 or 4 guys together. But I guess we're okay. Oh shoot. This is the room here where I got a weak one. Okay, so here's where I succeeded in that death claw attack. Those were difficult death claws because my base is developed, so you know your opponents get harder to beat all the time. But you know, it's the structure of my base that really did it. First of all, these guys are all high level 50, level 50. I'm not gonna have to use a single stim pack as long as they're fully healed when the battle starts. They're fine. Excuse my throat, please. I'm having a bit of a cold. So, you know, higher level guys. The power plants, of course. These guys are tough for battle. So that's why I structured the base this way. Next, I put my 2 food producers on one side and my 2 water purifications on the other. Now, this game's all about efficiency. You don't want to be spending your time, you know, meddling around because your rooms are poorly arranged. It's just a waste of productive potential in a way. You know, you can enjoy the game and enjoy it much better. Get a lot more out of your base if you just, you know, design it in a way that's easy to manage, right? So my productive rooms are all at the top. I kind of wish that I put a bit more space here between the med labs and the training rooms because of the Nuku plants. Because I don't like going to the bottom to collect and then back to the top. So I would have put between this room. Come on, this interface is still coming. There we go. Between these 2 rooms here, if I could have about 2 or 3 floors for my Nukus, then I'd be happier. That's about all I'd change in this space. I really like this design. You know, you have exactly enough space to have 2 elevators and two large and one medium room. There's no space for any other arrangement that's any better than that. So however, with wherever you put your elevators, I guess is up to you. But when it comes to my decision to put them in the middle, the advantages are that the excuse me. When it comes to troop movements, it's very simple, and straightforward. So it's quick for troops to move back and forth between rooms, from even across, from one extreme distance to another. So that arrangement is good. Having the non-productive rooms in the middle means that they're easy to defend, because even though they're empty, I can just put troops in there to quickly take care of those rooms. Now, that's also another point that I'm sorry. So many points to make in this game. This game is just so advanced. I don't even know how many people are even keeping along and just stop the video and check the next one, because I'm just way too complicated. Anyway, you run out of vault dwellers before you run out of space, basically. So what I'm saying is, there's the bottom of the map there. You see, that's another 5 floors or something. I'm never going to get to the bottom. I have a 200 dweller limit. So that's maybe 20 floors at best. So for people who are buying Mr. Handies, there's a tip. You don't need to buy more than 4 times. And Mr. Handies are an absolute must, in my opinion. Come on, think about it. You're playing a game, a great developer. Fallout series is incredible, and if you're already into this game, it's probably going to get better. It's only just begun. It's just come out. Games are glitchy. Games have a lot of development from the point that they are released. So there's probably going to be a lot more interesting content in this game. I surely hope so. So I don't see why you wouldn't just buy some Mr. Handies. They're probably going to get more expensive too as the game gets more popular. And here's what your Mr. Handy is going to do. He's going to go from room to room, and he's going to protect those rooms when there's an incident. Now, when there's an incident and the room is completely empty, the incident spreads to other rooms very quickly, and that becomes a huge problem. You want to contain an incident and end it as fast as possible. In every case, in every sense, you don't want an incident to last. So, having a Mr. Handy around, if he's on that floor, and there's only one Mr. Handy per floor, he's just going to bounce straight to that room without you even intervening, and start putting that out. Now, his health is going to deteriorate very, very fast when he's by himself. However, as soon as you bring in support, so let's say there was a fire in... let's make a fire. Burn it with fire. Oh, I keep forgetting, I'm really sorry. The audio for me is a lot quieter than it is in the video, and I keep trying to make adjustments. There we go. Boom! What do we got here? Rad Roach. Okay, so we already have dudes in this room. See that Mr. Handy come in here? So he's coming in and he's using his weapons. He's got a few and he's helping in the attack. Now they wasted. They got nice guns, so they wasted those guys. But they see that brought down their happiness. That red right there, 74%. Ouch! They are not in a good mood, and they were quite happy before that incident. So that incident did a lot of damage to their happiness. Failing is not something you generally want to do. Anyway, so Mr. Handy didn't lose a lot of health, and that's mainly because there was 4 people in the room. The room was completely full. If the room had 3 people, he would lose health faster. And the infestation would take longer to subdue. And if there was only 1 person in there or no people in there, Mr. Handy's health would deteriorate very fast. And these guys cost $2,000 to fix, which is very expensive. So you don't want to waste your Mr. Handies on half-filled rooms. So make sure you keep your rooms full at all times. And when you have an incident in your dormant rooms, you quickly, boom, 1, boom, 2, boom, 3, boom, 4. And soon you have the whole room full of people fixing the incident with your Mr. Handy. And then at the end, all your people go back automatically, because that's the nature of when there's an incident and you move anything from one room to another, it goes back to the way it was before the incident had started. So you can go ahead and move anyone anywhere during an incident. So that's truly, the methods I'm showing you are truly efficient in dealing with these problems. Getting a radio room, I had one and I kept it and I used it. It was definitely worth it, but not even until I was level, or where, sorry, I had 80 or 90 dwellers. At that point, I really liked using the radio station, having it, full-size room, 6 people, with high charisma, because, you don't go through the whole birthing process of pregnant woman for 3 hours, and then, child for 3 hours, and then they wander around, and you got to kind of find them or whatever, you forget they're there. And they affect, it's just annoying. It's a lot easier when they just come up to the door and you let them in and you show them, this is where you're gonna work now. So yeah, I wouldn't even bother starting to build one until you're at that point. And another point to make is, I lost it, but let's go to training. So I'm a little nuts when it comes to design in this game, I guess. When I look at everyone else's base out on YouTube, it's completely... I spent a lot of money just cutting things down and putting it back and like finding the arrangement that I liked, and it really helped, I think, in saving time in what I'm doing when I play, so that I can kind of get what I want, instead of just like, oh, where does this guy go? Where does this guy go? Anywho, so these rooms are the training rooms are arranged by in the same order as the special stats, SPEC. Oh, got a message. There we go. I'm plugged in right now. Let's just yank off that Wi-Fi. That'll help. There we go. So from S, here we go. The S room, the strength room. P, perception. E, endurance. Charisma. Intellect. Agility. Luck. And I have plenty of luck rooms. I have 5 of them because I'm trying to boost my luck in all my rooms as fast as possible. Look at me, I have 110,000 caps, and I honestly don't even think it's enough, because I want to rearrange my whole base and just have the perfect base, the base that I want, right? So it's kind of annoying that you can see it. I'm gaining them so quickly, and that's the difference when you have a well-arranged base and everybody trained up well. You do gain caps extremely fast, and that helps you out in your game a lot. So another tip is, when it comes to your dwellers, have your rooms full. But once you start getting your training rooms, start with just, room size 2, like I did here in the middle, and make them max level as fast as possible. Keeping in mind, as I said before, if your dwellers don't all have weapons, don't make all your rooms level 3. You want to have at least, I would say, handguns in a room to level up a room to level 2. Everyone should have a handgun at least, especially if they're low level people. Start, if you're using the same design as me, start in the middle, with these double-sized rooms, and do 4 at a time. That's pretty plenty, and get a rotation going. So what that means is you have your power plants that have all full, and then you have a rotation crew. In my case, I have, what are they, 2, 4, 5, is there one over there? No, 5, 6, 7, Okay, so I have 7, a rotation crew of 7 to replace everyone that's in here. So anytime these 7 get better stats, and I might even have a couple more, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have a huge rotation. 14, where am I even still counting properly? Whatever. So I have a bunch of these guys that just train all day long. And as soon as their stats are good and high, I just swap them out until, that's that. And then I start training their next stats because eventually, truly, you do want everyone to have full stats in everything, in my opinion. And that's where I'm growing. So that's why I have these massive training centers because there's no other way, right? And everyone is trained up quite well. You see, when everyone's got high stats, they do well in defense situations, in combat, because every skill has its benefits in combat. And the same goes for when they're in the wastelands. So these guys are collecting much better gear because their stats are excellent, and they're getting gear faster. Oh, look at that. See, look at that. 4,000. Oh, 4,832. Wayne Hall's down 1,000 to revive, and I'm just recall. He's coming home. And what's this? Tune laser pistol, strength 5, which doesn't really matter anymore to me. Honestly, gear is less and less important. These ones are more important, actually. These ones that are, because with each stat that you train, you as you get higher and higher once you're trained higher and higher in the stats, if your dweller has a stat level 7, it takes a longer time to train to level 8 than it does from 3 to 4, right? So these fatigues aren't worth a whole lot if I'm trying to balance their stats. It's better to get things like these, which is spread. So you don't have to, you can train up to strength 8, and then you have strength 10, which is max. So, there you go. So thinking as I go along here, just kind of yakking away. I might just like delete this video later and like do a proper tips video, but I wanted to throw these out because these are some tips that I haven't heard. So another thing that I do, you can see their gear is all the same color. So, as much as I like to make sure that their gear matches what I want their gear to accomplish, I'm also making sure that their colors do match because that helps me see in both the training center where my crew is and helps me see up here where to put them very quickly and easily. But also, these guys that go out into the desert, they wear either Merc gear or something better, but they wear something completely unique from what everyone else is wearing. So that way, I just know who's who. I go in there, I'm like, oh yeah, so there's one wasteland. What do we call? Uh, he was called the Vault Dweller, but I don't know. Anyway, these are the guys that go out into the wastes. Easy to spot. There, another one. See, very easy. And then some people aren't dressed yet. Oh, max level reached. I didn't look at my base before I started this video. I just wanted to get some tips. So I think my puppy here has to go out for a pee. I think I just haven't decided where to put her yet. Let's make her. There we go. Scientist, medicine doctor. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. I think I covered quite a bit. You definitely do want your rooms to be maxed out. There's no doubt about it. But you can't do it until you have decent level guys in there, some decent level weapons. Otherwise, you're going to get smushed. And that's just a pain in the butt when you have to keep spending caps on reviving people. It's just not worth it. Not worth it whatsoever. I'm going to build a ton of med centers because they're basically going to be for, what do we have here? 2? 1, 2. So when there's 2 people in there, what do we do? 3, 4, 5, 6. Fill up the room, that's what we do. See, Mr. Handy's losing health quick while there's only 2 of them in there. But as the room fills up, why are they all stacked like that? I'm pretty sure they aren't supposed to stack like that. Because most of the time they spread out perfectly, evenly. And that's when they're hard to heal, right? When they're stacked. Okay. Anyway, so there will be more. There will be more videos. I hope this one was less monotonous and boring than the last one. Please give me some time to develop. I'm only just learning how to make YouTube videos, so thank you. For any criticisms, feel free to tell me anything you want to tell me in the comments, and please do use like and subscribe and all that, because if I'm not getting any attention, then I probably won't make videos. I just want to know that there's people out there that I'm actually helping. Awesome. All the best. Good day. Enjoy.